Today it is Saturday, which means it is Park Run Day, and we are off to Tremorfa Parkrun. So Tremorfa Parkrun is located on the east side of Cardiff in South Wales, and with the name, it is obviously located in Tremorfa Park. But before we do go any further, I think this is time to get rid of this purple 25 t-shirt, as if you saw the last park run we did, that was our 50th park run, and guess what? I have ordered the 50 shirts, so let's get that on. And here it is, the 50 Park Run t-shirt in red, so no longer in purple. I will be wearing red, so let's get that on. And there we go. So what do we reckon? Does it look better than the purple one, or do people prefer the purple 25? Let me know down in the comments below. So as you may have noticed, we were unable to get any drone footage on the day, unfortunately, as it was a very wet day and a little bit windy too, so I didn't want to risk taking the drone up on the day. But Tremorfa Park Run is a flat park run, and it is a really good one for a PB as well. It is 2 3/4 laps as well, all on hard standing tarmac paths, so it is a perfect run really if you're trying to get a quick time. And because it is all on hard standing paths, I would say road shoes are perfect for this course. However, there are a couple of leaves which can fall, and I'm guessing in the autumn that will make it worse, so it could be a little bit slippy then. And it is also good to note that the park run is dog friendly and buggy/pram friendly, both of which we did see on the day. But also do remember, if you have got a dog, to take it on a short lead. And also there are toilets fairly nearby. I wouldn't say they're on the course or next to the course. However, where you do park, which is at the Tesco Extra, which is a less than 10-minute walk, there are toilets there, so you can go to the toilet before you run. So with it being around Tremorfa Park, there is a woodland area which does make the aesthetics a little bit nicer. However, we have definitely done much more stunning park runs. So in terms of visiting this park run, I'd say it is good for time, but in terms of aesthetics, there are probably nicer ones in and around Wales, especially the Coed Kevin Plwdi Park Run, which we did, which was the hilliest park run in Wales, which isn't too far from Cardiff, and that one was stunning. But before we do go any further, if you don't know what a park run is, it is essentially a 5k run which is ran by a group of volunteers who both time and marshal the event. Once you get to the finish line, you get handed over with a finish token, which you then scan with your own personalised barcode, which you will then be emailed later on your finishing time and position. So now you know what a park run is, let's take a look at the summary of the course. So it is 2 3/4 laps, like we said earlier, in a figure of 8 shape. However, you are not crossing in the centre, otherwise there could be a lot of collisions. There is a max elevation of 10 metres and an elevation gain of just 7 metres, so that shows just how flat it is, especially as you look at the graph in that top left hand corner as well. So that is a summary, and now let's take a look in a bit more detail. So you're going to start off here in the tree area, make your way towards the northwest side. You're then going to make a slight right hand turn followed by another right hand turn before making your way towards St Albans Rugby Club and Football Club. You then turn left, all still on hard standing, making your way north towards the Tremorfa play area. Turn left again and follow the path all the way around the outskirts of Tremorfa Park, passing the Tremorfa Nursery School all the way down to Minton Court before you turn left again. You pass the Minton Court Park play area before heading your way back to the centre of that figure of 8. Instead of crossing the figure of 8, you then turn right, heading back down the path where you started towards the southeastern side. You then do an almost U-turn and head your way north towards the Tesco Extra before doing another U-turn and heading your way back towards the middle. At this point, you then turn right again. You do that lap another time. You do it the third time, but instead of completing the 3 laps, you're actually going to finish in the centre area here, where the volunteers will be stopping their timers and handing you your finish token. So that is a pretty simple course. Figure of 8 is all you need to remember, and if you follow the person in front, you'll be fine. If you're at the front, then you are setting the trend of the course, so make sure that you know it well. And as usual, after we've had a look at the course, we take a look at some of the Tremorfa Park Run records which have been set over the years. So firstly, the fastest male is Oliver Williams with a time of 15 minutes and 58 seconds. Incredibly fast. The fastest female, Olivia Sim, with a time of 17 minutes and 11 seconds. Again, incredible time set by her. And the average number of runners is about 89, so it's a fairly quiet park run, with the average time being a quick 1-2 of 28 minutes and 27 seconds. So that just shows how quick this park run is. And so they are some of the incredible times which have been set by other participants, but now let's take a look at some of my stats for park runs. So we've completed 50 park runs, hence the red t-shirt. We have done 35 locations as well, which is incredible. We're trying to head towards 50 there too. Our best finish position was at Zielony Jar in Poland, which was 4th. And then our fastest times head from 22:32 at Summerdale Pavilion all the way to 23:10 at Riverfront. But today it won't be one of our fastest times as we have been injured for a little bit, so it's probably going to be 25-minute sort of times rather than 23:10 as we head towards trying to improve our fitness again so that we can get another one of the park runs which we complete back on this leaderboard. So we made our way down to the start of the park run. Run director was great as well, knew it was raining, so tried to set us off super quickly, and we were off. So here we go. Tremorfa Parkrun has began, and as you can see it's a little bit blurry, the footage. If anyone knows how you can sort that out, because I think it's to do with there being quite a bit of light in the sky, but then you're also undercover with the trees, so maybe it's sort of some lighting issue there. You'll have to let me know in the comments below. But it's a quick start from us as well. We're running at a 4 minutes per kilometre speed, which is not what we want to be running, especially following an injury, and I'm definitely not fit enough now to be running that sort of time. But all the volunteers are really nice and friendly on the day as well, especially considering the weather. You can probably see a few little raindrops going past us, and I'm sure some will drop onto the GoPro in no time. The lady there in front as well with the pram had some music going too, which was really cool, so it was nice to sort of run behind her for a bit, but eventually she will pull away from us, as you will see. So this is that first right hand turn we were on about as you head towards the rugby club. You can see some rain has now fallen on the camera, but if you do like these sort of reviews, do make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It goes a long way and helps me out a load too, and is all completely free, so please do that if you have enjoyed, and also let me know in the comments how you are getting on with Park Run 2. So the course is now going to bend off to the left as we head our way around Tremorfa Park, which you can see on that left hand side, a very big park as well, and a very wet day still, and you can see all the puddles on the ground, which maybe could have slowed us down a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. And the elevation being just 9 metres and keeping pretty consistent at that 9 metres as well shows just how flat this one is and how it is a great potential for a PB. So now we are going to turn off to the left and head our way back south. So we're heading across Tremorfa Park to the opposite side with the rugby and football playing fields on the left hand side. We're about half a kilometre in. We have slowed down to about a 5 minute per kilometre pace now, which is what I wanted really, because I'm trying to get sub 25 again, as our last one was over 25. Well, our last two was over 25 actually. So we need to try and get back sub 25, because that is my usual aim. Give the GoPro a quick wipe, as I know that there is going to be a few raindrops falling on here. It's very grey sky as well, as you can see in the air, and you can definitely see why I couldn't get the drone going. But there's a cute little dog on the left, which you may have seen just run past as well, with its volunteer top on. So that is 1 kilometre in at a time of about 4:25. So that is a pretty quick kilometre for my sort of standard. And I'm very impressed that I did manage to do that. However, I probably will come to regret that a little bit later on, as that was a very fast one. You can see some cool bit of Tremorfa artwork in the background there as well, by those flats just ahead of us. So if you want to get a photo by there at the end, I definitely recommend it. We have done pretty much the whole of the perimeter now of Tremorfa Park, and we're heading back towards the centre of that figure of 8 before coming back towards where we started. So here is that park on the right hand side. So you need to weave in and out from that. So you initially weave out, then you're gonna weave back in, so maybe you might lose a couple of seconds there, just as you're being careful. You don't want to slip over. Another volunteer there making sure that we don't turn left and cut up half the course. And we are now heading our way back to the centre where the finish line is. So that is the lap of Tremorfa Park done. Back in the middle at the figure of 8, which you may notice, you can see on that right hand side is where you do finish on your last lap. And we're now back under the trees. So this is where we started, but we were running the opposite way. So we're now running back under those trees, and then once we get to the far end, we're doing a sort of U-turn again. But again, as you can see, a little bit of blurry footage. So if anyone knows, is like a camera expert or a GoPro expert, do let me know in the comments how I can fix this. So as you may be able to see at this section as well, there are a lot of leaves on foot too, so maybe trail shoes could be okay, for especially when it gets leafier, as you don't want to trip over all of those leaves. There's the marshal pointing you in the right direction as we turn left, go around in a sort of U-turn, but it's a slow U-turn, so you don't lose too much time there, and you're now heading your way back north towards the final bend, and then that is lap 1 complete. And there we go, that is that left-hand bend as we head back towards the middle of the figure of 8. You can see the guy in the red on the right-hand side twinning with me right now with the 50 t-shirt on, so he's probably heading towards his 100, or maybe he's just wearing his 50 t-shirt again. He might have already hit 100, got the 100 t-shirt and decided to wear the red one for today's event. But as you can see, really flat. The elevations basically change between 8 and 10 meters for the whole of this run, so it's definitely a recommended PB course in my opinion. Also, you can check out the Strava too, which is in the link below. That's got any information on the elevation, gradient, my split times and things like that, so you can go and check that out. And there we go, so it took us about 9 minutes and 30 seconds to complete lap 1 as we head into lap 2. So we're doing alright at the moment, to be fair. We're keeping up at a good pace, but as you'll see later on, it does begin to slow a little bit as I do run out of steam, unfortunately. But good start, I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm just happy, to be honest, that I'm not injured. So we're 2.5 kilometers in now with a time of about 11:35. So that is pretty good for me, especially if I was to just double that and get around 23 minutes. But I came off a little bit too quick, and as you can see, the pace is dropping slowly. Elevation still between 8 and 10 meters. So as you can see, the whole of this course is flat, and we're heading back around the perimeter. The rain is not laying off either. It was getting slightly stronger too, and it is just grey today. Not a nice day at all in Tremorfa Park, unfortunately, but still the dog on that left hand side running around, keeping us going as a volunteer. 3 kilometers down with a time of around 14 minutes. There's that Tremorfa Park artwork on that right hand side as well. So that one was a lot slower. So my first split was 4:32, second was 4:42, and this one is 4:52. So we are ever so slightly dropping every kilometre, and we're heading our way back towards the centre of that figure of 8. So we need to try and keep this pace if you want to beat that 25-minute time. I think the rainy weather does ruin the aesthetics of this park. It probably is a lot prettier in the sunlight, but we're back at the long section where we started, keeping our eye out on the leaves on the floor as well so that it isn't too slippy / mushy. Quick wipe of the lens to get rid of any water which has dropped onto it, but we're running at a 5-minute kilometre pace still, so we're managing to keep up at a good pace now. Leveled out a little bit, set off too fast. Definitely recommend to not set off too fast. I do it way too often, and I feel probably other people do it as well. You'll have to let me know in the comments if you always fall for that one as well. You set off too quickly and then have to slow down gradually to your pace. So I need to get better at that. I think it's just the adrenaline rush at the start as everyone sets off and you want to sort of get ahead of people so you're not stuck behind people and things like that. But I need to get better at that, and I will try and improve that for the next part run. So we are doing this U-turn for the second and final time. We don't have to do that again as we head our way back north. Then we got to do one more lap of Tremorfa Park, and then it is a sprint finish to the finish line. So the marsh is pointing us back towards the centre for the final time, and then that side to the right of the figure of 8 is completed. So we just need to do that left-hand side one more time, and then we are done. So we're heading our way back forwards. It spaces out loads as well. As you can see, it was a really quiet park run compared to a lot of the ones which we have done. So there was plenty of room to run, and you've got plenty of space as well. So no bottlenecks or anything like that either, where you're going to get stuck behind people. So it's a perfect park run for a PB. So 4 kilometers in, about a time of 18 minutes and 50 seconds. So that sounds pretty good, but usually with my Strava, what it does is when you go and look back at it, you're not actually doing 5 kilometers on Strava because it is jagged and things like that. So you end up doing about 5.2 kilometers on Strava. So we have got that extra 200 meters at the end, which is why the time probably won't be as good as it is looking right now. But we are heading our way back around Tremorfa Park. You can see it ahead of us. Unfortunately, the rain is getting worse and it is pelting us right now. So we are dripping. The clothes are much heavier than they usually are. The shoes are drenched as well. And now we're going to have a nice warm shower after that and dry off all the clothes in the washing machine and dryer. So there's the tail walker there in front. Thank you very much to him for volunteering. And we're going to turn left onto Tremorfa Park. Going to spot that doggo for the last time just as we come around the corner in the distance. And also don't forget that there is the Tesco Express Tesco Extra, sorry, which is not too far from the start line. That is where you'll find the toilets and the car park and things like that, which I'll go through at the end of the video. So it is about 500 meters to go. Once we have passed this point, you can see our pace is at the bottom right, and it is now about 5:30 to 5 minutes. It's in the middle of there, so we are a lot slower than we started off. So the pacing definitely needs to improve to get us back to the pace that we were running at previously. Top end of the elevation is 10 meters at this side of the park, but as we've seen all the whole way through, it goes between 8 and 10 meters, and that is it. So it is so flat, perfect for that PB, and we are running around Tremorfa Park for the final time. Doing quite well. We've been overtaken by quite a few people though, as we do slow down our pace, but we don't want to injure ourselves again, because if I injure myself again, then I can't actually do any of the park runs. So we do need to be careful and make sure that we don't strain too much. And we are passing that Tremorfa artwork for the final time, and it is now the final sprint finish. You've got a few people ahead of us which are on the previous lap, so we're going to just overtake them now as we sprint towards as we run slightly faster towards the finish line than we usually do. You've got the park ahead of us as well. We're currently running at about 24:05 is the sort of time that we're at right now, so we've got a minute to go if we want to try and get under that 25-minute time, and it's just this long straight to go as well. Volunteers there cheering us on for this final sprint too, but can we get under 25? That is the question. And here we go, so we've managed to pick up the pace to a 4-minute sort of pace as we come towards that finish line. We can see it there on that right hand side. It looks like we're gonna know. Unfortunately, we've not beaten the 25-minute time, but we're going to end with 25:05, so not too bad. We're almost back to sub 25 minutes, which was what I'm aiming for. Thank you for that finish token. We ended up in 30th position too, but let's take a look at a summary now. So that is Tremorfa Parkrun complete, ticking off the T on that alphabeteer challenge. However, we've already done that as we've done 5 other park runs, beginning with T, including ones in both Oslo and Helsinki. This is definitely one of my slower times. However, it's got the potential for a PB. I've said it about 5 or 6 times probably throughout this video, but definitely PB potential, even though the weather was horrific. So hopefully when you go, it won't be as bad, so that you can do it in an even quicker time. As you can see, the park run was very quiet too, with only 93 runners in total, including myself. So a very quiet park run, and for that reason, you have got lots of space to run, and there are no bottlenecks either where you will get caught up, which is perfect. Despite the horrible weather and the grey skies, the atmosphere was great. All the volunteers with lots of energy, and it's nice to see some doggo volunteers too, running around enjoying themselves. And for that reason, I want to say a huge thank you to all of the volunteers who were there on the day supporting us and cheering us on as we went around the course. In terms of the scenery, it is nothing special though. It is just a bog standard park. Not one of the nicest parks which I have been to, However, the weather probably made it look a lot worse than it usually is. But I'm just comparing this to other ones which I've done at national parks and things like that. So obviously the scenery on those ones is going to look 10 times better. And as usual, I go through the pinch points for each of these park runs. So probably the bends for Tremorfa Parkrun is the worst one. There was a few bends, especially around the little play area, which you have to do and things like that, where you're going out and in. You won't lose many seconds on that though whatsoever, which is why I'm saying it's still a PB potential. And in the case of today, the weather made it a little bit slippier potentially in spots, especially where there were lots of leaves on foot, but usually the weather won't be that bad, so I'd leave it as just bends for this course. Now we are at the tips and tricks section at the end of each video, helping you to actually get to the park run if you do want to go and visit. So number one, if you want to get there by public transport, we'll start with train, and the closest train station to Tremorfa Parkrun is Cardiff Queen Street train station, which is a 51-minute walk to the park run, 30-minute bus, or a 10-minute taxi ride. And then the second mode of public transport is just getting the bus. So if you wanted to just get the bus, the closest stop are the Haviland Road bus stop and Pennant Green Tesco bus stop 2. From both of those, it's about an 8-minute walk to the start line, so nice and close from there. And then finally, if you're going to drive to the event, there is the big main Tesco Extra car park, which is only a 10-minute walk from there. And they've also noted on their website to make sure not to park at residential streets adjacent to the park or at St Albans Rugby Club, as they don't want you parking there and taking up all of those spots. Finally, the most important bit is the post-park run coffee. So you can go to the cafe at the Tesco Extra, which look like this, and there's quite a few different things you can get from there, from hot food, cold food, hot and cold drinks. Then you obviously have the whole of Tesco Extra as well, where you can go and buy something and you'll probably be allowed to take it into the cafe. And now to my post-park run stats, and not much has changed here. So number of park runs has increased to 51, and locations increased to 36, and the rest has stayed the same, with my best finish position being 4th, and my fastest time being 22:32 at Somerdale Pavilion Park Run. But that is going to be it for this park run video, so I hope you did all enjoy. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We're trying to get to 2k subscribers by the end of this year, so fingers crossed we can do that. And also, if you have any tips or tricks for this park run, especially on how to get there and things like that, do make sure to let us know down in the comment section below, and I'll try and pin it to the top. And also let us know if you've ever done this park run and how you are getting on with your park run journey. But the last park run we did, which was park run of number 50, we can go and check that one out here. And then if you want to go and check out any of the other park runs, including some of which I volunteered, you have the worldwide park run playlist, which can be found here. Next week we are heading up north to Manchester. I've not actually decided which park run I am going to do yet, so that'll probably be a spontaneous decision, but don't forget to go and check that one out next Friday with another park run video. But I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.